A butterfly flops its wings in Brazil, and 2 weeks later, there's a tornado in Texas. You've heard that concept, right? Tiny action, massive consequence. Well, the same thing happens with your money. Except instead of butterflies and tornadoes, it's a $5 coffee today that costs you $50,000 in retirement. Let me show you how the smallest financial decisions you're making right now are creating earthquakes in your future. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with something everyone does. You buy a $5 coffee every workday. Feels harmless, it's just $5. You work hard, you deserve it. But here's the butterfly effect you're not seeing. That's $25 a week, $100 a month, $1,200 a year. Over 30 years, that's $36,000 in coffee. But wait, it gets worse. If you invested that money instead at a conservative 8% return, you know what you'd have? $146,000. You didn't just spend $36,000 on coffee, you spent $146,000. That daily coffee just cost you a house down payment, a kid's college fund, your freedom, and you never even noticed because it was just $5. Now multiply that by every small decision. That streaming service you forgot to cancel. $10 a month doesn't feel like anything, but over 20 years with compound interest, that's $73,000. You're literally paying $73,000 to occasionally watch shows you could live without. That's the butterfly effect. Small flutter, massive impact. Here's another one. You carry a $5,000 balance on a credit card at 20% interest. You make minimum payments because that's all you can afford. Feels manageable, right? But that $5,000, it'll take you over 20 years to pay off, and you'll spend over $8,000 in interest alone. But here's the real butterfly effect. That $8,000 in interest you paid, if you'd invested it instead, it would have grown to over $38,000. So that purchase you made years ago that you can't even remember, it didn't cost you $5,000. It cost you $38,000 in opportunity loss. One swipe, decades of consequence. Want to see the most painful butterfly effect? Waiting to invest. You're 25. You think you'll start investing at 30 when you're more stable. Just 5 years, what's the big deal? Here's the deal. If you invest $200 a month starting at 25, by 65, you'll have over $600,000. Start at 30 instead, you'll have $400,000. That 5-year delay just cost you $200,000. Same monthly investment, same timeline after you start. But because you waited, you lost $200,000. That's the butterfly effect of time. Those 5 years don't just disappear, they compound against you for the rest of your life. But here's the beautiful part. The butterfly effect works both ways. Every small good decision creates massive positive consequences you can't see yet. You save an extra $50 this month. In 30 years with compound growth, that's over $500. Doesn't sound like much until you realize that every $50 you save today is worth 10 times that in your future. You pack lunch 3 times a week instead of buying it, that's about $40 saved. Doesn't feel significant, but that $40 a week over 30 years becomes over $200,000. Packing lunch is a butterfly wing that creates a $250,000 tornado in your retirement account. Every financial decision you make today is a butterfly. Small, seemingly insignificant, but somewhere down the line, it creates a storm. The question is, what kind of storm are you creating? One that destroys your future or one that builds it? You can't see the future consequences of today's small choices. That's what makes them dangerous, but it's also what makes them powerful. Because if you can't see the damage you're creating, you also can't see the wealth you're building. Every dollar saved is a butterfly wing. Every investment made is a flutter. Every good habit is a small action with consequences so large you won't believe them until they arrive. The butterfly effect of finance is happening right now with every choice, every purchase, every dollar. You're creating your future tornado, good or bad. So ask yourself, what are your butterflies building? Destruction or wealth? Because either way, the storm is coming.